All right. So here we are again.
Let's
just go over
we're
kind of discussing this one, in which application I'm talking about. So in this application, we will be talking about shopping this app.
in the quiz
I would not be going
application,
over
there was a generic
the
application
HTTP
of a quiz
request
that was designed.
because that is just extra data,
and it
but I will
was
be going over
more
the application, the
guided
integration, and the
to
building of the
certain
application.
questions,
I did learn all these,
basically,
and then
again,
we
would show you kind of what it looks like, what we're doing.
HTTP.
So I did
but
some
that kind
minor
of doesn't really go into
tweaking.
the
I would say
functionality
minor,
or
probably
what we
took
are
me
demonstrating in
around
this application.
3 to 4 hours worth of tweaking. Just
The render tree is
only
only
make
updated partially if differences between the old and the new elements are detected.
Reloaded it
And
up.
you
I'll show
Kind
you
of my
the
previous
model
videos, sometimes I didn't do that.
trying to show you the
But yeah, I tried to be up there.
difference
So here we are
of
again.
describing
Let's just go over what
here,
we're
the
kind of
previous one.
It's a grocery
So you
one
can
application. So
see
basically,
the
a simple.
devices.
So it's like you add
Nonetheless,
now
to
to
use it as developer
how
site,
it was before.
I would not go over
There's my
changes
changes and kind of what I did.
request.
So this
Because
is
that
kind of
is
what
just
get
extra
this
data, but I will be going over
to
the
the
application, the
original one.
integration, and the
Now
building of the application.
made changes
I did learn all these in
and
page
but it
1
is
because I
quiz
understand that it's
and
working
UI.
in
And the
internship
layout
and
of
most
the
of the assignments. So
now
we
that was
best
kind of
tools
the
with
old ones
application.
and everything.
So
And this is a new one.
I can't get into it, but for time's sake, I'd rather just focus on the application. Which we have here.
So
Preloaded it up.
changes on this one.
Add the videos,
Functionally,
as
as applications
I
go.
just want to be up there, so it's fun. Just mess around with this app because this app is now. It's a grocery user application, so basically a simple
images,
super user friendly. You see how
quiz,
coding is a feature,
different
categories.
everything is
Let's go into kind of describing the coding, creation of this application.
chart widget.
Fun times. Let's do it.
So
building a list, users can create and
so
manage
for this one,
their
the chart widget,
shopping
the
lists.
visually different look.
Working is
I increased the padding and height.
most of these
Including
sales
padding
and then adding new item screen. The screen allows users to interpret details.
Which is a process of this. I wanted it to kind of pop out, so figure and looks more visually
categories have.
And
Fun. I love just messing
I
around
also
with this
adjusted the
app
background and
because
shadows,
now
the background color to gray, and
just
the same thing,
white
just
intro
representation is
super
subtle,
user-friendly.
here,
So,
effect.
text form,
I wouldn't
coding
consider
is a
it
feature.
feature,
You know, that's categories.
the white,
So let's go into
that's pretty
kind
much what
of
it was.
describing
Like
the
questions,
quantities,
and
etc.
for the radius,
User-friendly
and the
times.
layout, increase icon
So
color,
building
adjust
a formal way drop down
is
button
subdued
list,
and match the
just
theme.
drop down.
Standard category
Users
icons, category icons
user-friendly.
for better
Items, this is
you
kind of cool.
something
And
different.
adding new
And
item
kind of
screen.
manipulate the
The
data.
screen allows
But I really
users to
found it
interpret
interesting
details.
because manipulating the data and kind of changing, increase
file
size,
kind
get
of
this item
structure.
size or category icon for better
Categories just
visibility,
all
understanding
contained
why you gave
so
you the second
description
option.
is kind of the
And then
recommend.
it's just
Another key concept
all
was
of this
access
really
control.
helped with kind of understanding
Global
more
key
video
is basically use access
key by key.
so state text
Let's
form
say input volume
validation
versus
passing data
Then
between
that
screens.
was
This is kind of
looking at
user
what it actually means, how it's
etc.
user-friendly. It's one of those things that you kind of find out a lot.
Former passing drop down screens is the key concept in this one. And then final challenge solution was kind of last week. So we learned in this one items. This is kind of cool because it kind of into users encouraging leverage and understanding.
So I
This is
created a separate
basically what we're
identifier
representing here.
widget.
Shopping this application kind of provides just a good user-friendly experience. It's just all a fun application because I actually enjoyed this one because I could actually see another key concept was access to categories. Super global key is basically use access. I just love it. This was one of the data, like passing data between screens.
Kind of
to say
the constant keyword.
This was fun, and it honestly provided really with useful knowledge and for many asking how to about the screen of primary key concept and then final challenge solution was kind of board. So we learned any of these videos. Please feel free to let me know. Now with all the videos from this application and formatting here record after this. Shopping the changes to the ones that it's just a good user-friendly experience. And it's kind of a fun application because I actually enjoyed this one because I could actually see it being useful.
rounded
category is
card
super
theme for visual distinct
straightforward.
appearance.
Like I just
App
loved it.
entry
It
point
was
modified
was
the
one
main
of them that
function
was
to
like
set up
not
the new
bad,
theme and
moving
added
on,
a basic
honestly.
expense widget to
Hate
be
to say that,
displayed.
but some of these age.
These changes
But
are
this was
basically
fun,
just visual
and
changes.
it honestly provided me
That's
with
all
useful
different
knowledge,
of
and
application.
I'm just
So
very much
use a final list for the questions
Thank
to
you, Dr.
ensure
Grisham,
risk,
and
mutability, and
enough
safety.
information
Included the
here
explicit
for
local variable for
on any of these
selection.
videos. Feel free to let me
Created a
know.
final
And
code
now
parity variable
I've
aligned
recorded
and
all the videos for
for
all of
smaller
these
extension
applications,
and
and
more compact layout.
kind of
Just
basically
this the
changes
changes
to the
I
ones
want
that I
it to be
pick.
adjust
Forward
background
to
containers,
create some more.
adjust the
That's
background
mostly
container
difficult because
horizontal margin to a constant value for consistency.
I was trying to mess with it as much as I could.
That just matches the padding value I asked earlier. Past the current expense, change the current expense widget to pass the current expense.
It's just place
Another
smaller
is
than that.
I
Place a
introduced a
screen
separate
as
as
an
an
end argument.
question.
River pod.
Yeah, that was kind of done by
Provider, display places,
enhanced
detail
clarity
screen
and
organization.
use more
Image
descriptive
picker,
variables. So it's
camera,
kind of similar.
question
Change padding
previewing,
adjustment,
and
increase the
in it we kind
horizontal
of had to
padding
just
to provide slightly more space between the
things like
bars
just
and
different
border radius. Another thing is
especially with the
vertical border
Google
radius,
geocoding
deco bar
API
to give active screen as well
so
be
basically we had to
initialized the color
implement this
scheme for the
code
bars.
in an API.
I changed selected answers initialization to
blue
use
accent
the
here
Asian accent method instead of direct more subtle appearance.
I
I really don't like direct and yeah,
to be honest.
that's kind of what I did for this one. Really just feel like it's been fun. I learned a lot.
Location, add your widgets,
I removed the
place detail,
necessary super
here's
call
how
and
to
the
add
quiz
you.
cost.
To run it, I would need to update it and to input a different location. It was running on this
code
one. When you input a different location,
learned a good
means
amount,
you
and
would
then
work.
just kind of
So that's all you would have to do. You just have to place
final
detail.
coding,
Add a new
and
one.
I moved
That's
the
just
app
a
entry point
placeholder.
art
Now
just how to
places
really do the
and
color
all
scheme
details.
without it really
Basically
blurring
wants to show you
around.
and
Created a
strange
light
just
app
everything
class
to
to
do.
handle top level material
and then
app
basically
setup.
wants to show you
Use
kind
the
of
key class
how
for
to
quiz
use
widget
geocoding in this application. Basically,
instead of super
outputting,
key.
configuring Google
Introduce
Maps,
an
map,
index-based approach for
basically
screen
dynamic
management
maps,
to improve
location manually, add a
readability and
place,
avoid hard code
etc.
strings. Change the active screen as I talked before. Refactor the switch screens method to work with the index-based approach. Use the index of method to find
basically picked up places,
the index of the screen and
SQL
the
database.
Simplify the code
Yeah,
within
just
the
a
build
lot of navigation,
method
a lot of
by
figuring
using
out
the active
the
screen
API, to be
index.
honest with you, which was kind of
removed
a
unnecessary
lot.
super constraints
So
to call
sorry
for
about
the quiz
Definitely
widget.
gonna do
Sorry, I just wrote everything down because
soon.
it took me so long to do this.
6%, so I can
I
finish this video.
wanted to kind of write everything I did.
But
I wrote down so I could recall this video.
learn a lot about Flutter
overall,
and the native devices
I think this was
features.
fun. Yeah,
Kind of practicing some Flutter's basics,
over the
widgets,
other
and adding
ones that I
providers.
did.
Picker library,
yeah, this was a fun
location library, Google
Actually,
Maps,
quite
Flutter,
really fun to
Google
just
Maps
mess with this
library,
quiz.
map screen,
These questions.
kind of adding the implementation, going into more
Thank you,
detail
Dr.
of
Grisham.
that. Sorry, my computer's gonna shut down soon, so I want to make sure I get this video out before that. Okay, so here it is. So it's just kind of having a template of developing and kind of changing the development feature in this for the geomapping. That was something I had to learn and kind of just went to Stackflow, honestly, and kind of was having issues. So kind of just read blogs and figured out that that was the issue holding it up. Flutter Google Maps library was a big implementation. Map and pick a location feature in a section. Third-party packages. Basically, Google Maps API converted a location to a human readable address or such snapshot preview. Basically, want data stored in the device. Kind of have a safe directory, load places from a database, save places, feature in the application. And then we saw an understanding of how to use native devices was kind of the core foundation of this application. Yeah, there's just so much to this. Like, I want to show you. I just want to talk about it because there's just so many. Like, SQL is just like so. And my computer's about to power down. Sorry about that, but it's just user place and notifiers, load places, insert the place, basically SQL. And get database in the user places Dart application. So it'll be right here. That was just a key fundamental concept, kind of showing my understanding of it, and just kind of basically return it future and yield a database is basically what you're trying to do. You're trying to kind of utility function of get a database and add a query and kind of just automatically receive the list of items. Represents a row of a database and kind of name it, converted value, a shorter syntax. It's just all that ID, to-do list, load places, notifiers. Places are, sorry, I really want to show you this, but I really don't want the video to end out. But that's just some key concepts. I'm just going to provide a synopsis real quick before I kind of get out of this. So displaying places, yeah, just a pick of an image and just kind of using image picker package to kind of show it through a device camera. So that was the key concepts. Thank you. You're the best, Dr. Gershwin. Appreciate it. And I can't wait to be tuning in for another video.
Alright, so for this video, I will be discussing the remodel and revamp and changes I made to the quiz application. In the quiz application, it was the generic application of a quiz that was designed, and it was more guided to certain questions, basically on coding and on what we're doing. So I did some minor tweaking. I wouldn't say minor, probably took me around 3 to 4 hours worth of tweaking, just learning the code and kind of understanding what the changes did and where to kind of change the code. I'll show you the remodel real quick so you can see the difference. And I also have up here the previous one so you can see as I go
on those devices.
it is.
Nonetheless, you as a developer write your code.
There. So it'll be the quiz remodel. So this, I can show you kind of what
We get this result.
This original one is basically just Flutter, basically quiz on the UI. You can see the layout, everything. That was kind of the old one, and this is a new one. So I want a simple box. Learn Flutter the fun way. Simple changes on this one are basically the application's the same. I just wanted to tweak it around. The imagery is different. The coloring is different. So I'll talk more about that going forward. I just kind of want to show you right now what it looks like. You start quiz. What is capital France? Paris. Which planet is known as a red planet? Should know this. I believe it is Mars. What is the largest mammal in the world? Whale is not a mammal. So it's a elephant. Which famous scientist developed the theory of relativity? Wow. And which is a process by plants. What plants photosynthesis? So I got 3 out of 6. It's the same thing, just the representation. You can even see the color coding here, the layout. I wasn't put in the center, but it's like with the dark to white, it just doesn't look good. So that's pretty much what it was. I changed the questions, I changed the answers, I changed kind of the layout, the look, and kind of just made it more kind of fun and fluff, and just messed around and kind of got a different code out for you and something different, and kind of manipulate the data. But I really found it interesting because manipulating the data and kind of changing the Dart files gave me a better understanding, which I'm really understanding why you gave this assignment now to kind of tweak it, because it's different following what Maximilian kind of just directs in his videos and just going key by key by key of what he does, versus like looking at a file, then looking up, oh, what does this do? Actually, what does this do? Going on StackFlow and YouTubing it. It's one of those things that you kind of find out a lot more about code in that way. So I'm thankful for that. And then I'll just go over kind of the changes that I went through. Let's go here. So let's see. So I created a separate question identifier widget. So that would be here. So as you can see, enhanced code, modularity, and reusability. So this would be actually in the main file. So it's basically a change is the usability. I use the constant keyword where applicable for performance optimization. Simplified color uses by directly using color constants as a color changes. Updated the layer of the question identifier widget. So question identifier, updated this. So you can see the colors are. Update the layout of the question identifier, introduce comments and formatting, enhancing the clarity and readability. Yeah, and there's some other kind of changes I made. I added a scaffold widget around the container in the question screen. So you can see that. Question screen, and there we go. So it would be right there. And you can see all the changes. And that's all different. So use a final list for the questions to ensure immutability and safety. Included the explicit type of list quiz question for the question list to improve code clarity. Align the answer buttons vertically using smaller spacing for a more compact layout. So I felt like it was too big. So I wanted it to be visually appealing, and I also just wanted to mess with the code and see what it did, to be honest with you. So kind of find out more. I was trying to mess with it as much as I could just to kind of learn every aspect of it. Excuse me. And changes. So another is that I introduced a separate class quiz question, and enhance code clarity and organization. Use more descriptive variable names for clarity and question and options. Yeah, it's just a lot of just different things I implemented. Another thing is I use a late keyword to declare active screen, as it will be initialized within init state. I changed selected answers initialization to use the clear method instead of direct assignment. I really don't like direct assignment. I'm gonna be honest. I really just feel like it keeps your code kind of stagnant. I removed the unnecessary super call in the quiz class. Um, so I'll go there. Improved code formatting and readability. And then last of all, I'll talk more about just kind of final touch-ups. I moved the app entry point to a separate main function to follow the more standard Flutter project. I created a My App class to handle the top level material app setup. Use the key class for the quiz widget constraint constructor instead of super key. Introduce an index-based approach for screen management to improve readability and avoid hard code screen strings. Change the active screen as I talked before. Refactored the switch screens method to work with the index-based approach. Use the index of method to find the index of the screen in the screens list. Simplify the code within the build method by using the active screen index. Removed unnecessary super constraints call for the quiz widget. Sorry, I just wrote everything down because it took me so long to do this that I wanted to kind of write everything I did. I wrote down so that I could recall in this video. Overall, I think this was fun, and I'm gonna start going over the other ones that I did. Yeah, but this was a fun one. I actually find it really fun to just mess with this quiz. I should know these questions. But yep. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Grissom. Alright, so for this video, we're going to be handling the changes to expense lists. So this is an application that was created earlier. And basically, I just want to make sure that it's recording and you could hear me. So expense list, go down to modular.
filters,
so I can
which
show you kind of what it looks like. That'll be mill. Sorry about that. Expenses.
and the render tree is only updated partially if differences between the old and the new element tree are detected.
You see.
And you
Sorry, just trying to show you a visual demonstration of what it looked like before. So, widget should have it. Okay.
now
So
to come to an end.
How it looked like before. My changes and kind of what I did. So that's what we're kind of going from to what I've done, and I'll describe what I've made changes wise to show you everything. And this is the application, so I can show you exactly what it looks like now, the implementations and everything that I've done to kind of change and build this application for you. So to start with, I made a lot of changes visually, functionally. As you can see, it's just totally different. So I'll show you kind of where we're coming from to where we're at. You can see the images, everything is different. The layout, different. Everything isn't hard coded either, so I changed that. But basically, so we'll go to the chart widget and start there. Okay, so for this one, the chart widget, we visually different look. I increased the padding and height, increase the padding and height of the container for a more spacious and visually appealing appearance. Kind of seemed boxy before as this. I wanted it to kind of pop out, so it's bigger and just looks more visually appealing. And I also adjusted background and shadow, changed the background color to gray in dark mode and white in light mode. Applied a subtle shadow for a raise effect. Increased border radius. And you can see this all here. See, dark mode. Increased border radius. Increased icon color. Adjusted the icon color to be more subdued and match the theme. Centered category icons. Center the category icons horizontally for better alignment. So as you can see here. Increase icon size of the category icon for better visibility. I also changed the expense. All of this really helped with kind of understanding more in depth of the application, how to change it all, because once again, when you're following Maximilian, it's good because you learn the hard code and you learn what everything means, how to implement it, what kind of the coding process is. So we could even change this if I wanted to say Grissom. Say Patrick. Why not? Why not? So basically for class expense, I basically detailed outline of changes in here and kind of modified icon and kind of changed the icons associated with each category to provide a different visual representation. Updated colors, changed the primary of colors to deep purple and accent color to amber to give the app a different color scheme. You change font family, set the font family property to monostrate and to apply a different font to the entire app. Just messing around with just little features of the application. I also card customization, added elevation and rounded corners to card theme for a visual distinct appearance. App entry point, modified the main function to set up the new theme and added a basic expense widget to be displayed. These changes are basically just visual changes and implementations of the application. I also made changes in the expense list, a local variable for current expense,
created a final current expense variable inside a item builder to hold the current expense in the loop. This basically avoids repeated access to the expense index. Adjusted background container horizontally margin to a constant value for consistency. That just matches the padding value I did earlier. Pass the current expense, change the current expense widget usage to pass the current expense as a named argument. Yeah, that was kind of done by that. And go to chart bar, the changes I made here. So it's kind of similar. I just changed the padding adjustment, increase the horizontal padding to provide slightly more space between the bars, increase border radius, increase the vertical border radius to the decorative bar to give the bars a more rounded look, and change the color scheme for the bars in dark mode. Basically similar. I wanted a blue accent and a green accent. More subtle appearance, just changes. And yeah, that's kind of what I did for this one. So it's been fun. I learned a lot and kind of learned how to implement different changes to this. So it was definitely a good experience, and I 100% feel like I learned a good amount about just kind of implementation and kind of coding, and just how to really do the color schemes, how to really move everything around, how to really just implement everything I wanted to in this application. So yeah, thank you.